Hi, this is Mary Nassi with IMT Realty. We are a full service property management company located in Groton, Connecticut. This week, I wanted to do a quick video on tenant retentions. One of the most important things that a landlord can do to help increase the value of his property is to stabilize his income. And one of the best ways to stabilize your income is for tenant retention. And I'm going to give you five quick, relatively easy tips on how to retain good tenants. We'll do a whole separate video another time on vetting tenants and getting that good tenant in there to begin with. But once you have a tenant in your property and they're good tenants, there are five things that they're really looking for that's going to help them stay. They want landlords that are going to stay on top of maintenance. So if you have rotted boards outside, steps that need to be replaced, torn carpet, debris around the property, that should if those things aren't there and they're addressed immediately, that's going to help retain your tenants. Everybody deserves a clean, safe place to live, and the more appealing your property is, and the more a tenant feels comfortable there, they're going to stay. So I can't stress enough the importance of maintenance. The second item is pretty much more common sense, but sometimes people do miss the mark. Just be a good landlord. When a tenant emails you or contacts you about a repair request or a maintenance issue, they're looking for a timely response, just as you would be looking for if you were in their position. Another thing, that it means to be a good landlord is not showing up unannounced. Tenants do have rights, and they are entitled to notice before you show up on the property. I had an instance where a landlord would find a really good creditworthy tenant that was paying on time, they were clean, etc. But the tenants were turning over quickly, and we were getting the same feedback that we were just the rental agent for the property. But the landlord had a family member that continually showed up on a weekly basis unannounced, and they would actually let themselves into their residence and borrow their tools to make repairs. It drove the tenants out. Tenants want to go home. This is their home. This is their place to decompress. They don't want to walk in feeling like somebody's been in their apartment or house without their knowledge. So that's a real no-no. But overall, just responding to the tenants. If they do have a complaint, sometimes they get, worked up. The most important thing I could tell you when it comes to responding to a tenant who's anxious and maybe raising their voice is just listen. They just want to be heard, and you need to acknowledge that you hear them, even if you don't agree with them. And it kind of de-escalates the situation. The third item would be to know what tenants want. So in your area, what are the key features that tenants are looking for, and make sure your properties have some, if not all of those features. One of the most important features we find tenants are looking for is laundry at the facility. If you can't have laundry in the apartments themselves, having laundry that's available in the basements or a common area in the property definitely helps attract and retain tenants. Another item would be energy efficiency. So it's one thing to attract a tenant into a property based on the aesthetics and all the amenities, but when they get in there and if the heating bill is through the roof because there's poor insulation, they're probably not going to stay long term. So the more energy efficient you can make your apartments where the tenants can afford the utilities, the longer they're apt to stay. And cleanliness. So another item for knowing what the tenants want is they want a clean place to live. They want the property to be maintained. They want to know that there's no debris, collecting around the property, and that it's safe. Also that it's rodent free. If you have a mice problem or something, set traps, hire an exterminator. Aesthetically, what tenants are looking for is not that much different than what a lot of homeowners are looking for. Updated kitchens and baths are a big attraction to tenants. Having a dishwasher, updated appliances, wood floors, those are all great features if you can afford to do them. I would first do kitchens and baths and flooring, and then worry about adding a dishwasher. The fourth thing you can do to help retain your tenants is be proactive about renewals. So don't wait until the lease is already expired to approach your tenants. They might have already started looking by then. Try to put it on your calendar to reach out to your tenants 90 days before their lease expires. Ask them if they plan on renewing. And if they're not, ask them why. And is there anything you could do to get them to stay? If they're not planning on renewing, this gives you the opportunity to market the property in advance and try to find a tenant but before this tenant moves out. It'll cut down on your expenses and loss of rents. And then the fifth thing you can do would be to stay on top of tenants as far as trying to make them long-term tenants. So when you go to sit down and do a renewal with somebody, if they've been a good tenant for the initial first year of their tenancy, maybe opt to doing a 2, 3, or longer year term. So those are the 5 items. The advantages of controlling your turnover with tenants is you avoid or reduce the turnover expenses involved with finding new tenants, the vacancies, and you will have consistent rental income. You'll spend less time preparing a unit for turnover, and you'll avoid the uncertainty of a new tenant. Whenever a new tenant moves in, they could look great on paper, but they might not be a great tenant. So if you have an existing tenant that is a stable, well-paying, clean tenant, they're definitely worth trying to keep. So again, this is Mary Nassi, IMT Realty. If you want to like our channel and follow us, we do property management videos every week. So, or you can reach out to us with any questions you may have. Thank you.